Hello guys, welcome back to Zogdia Trader. So today in this episode, we're going to talk about Trump and Trump trade again. I'm sorry I've been quite busy, so that's the reason why I haven't been updated new video recently. So in this video, we're going to talk about several things. First, there is an increasing amount of tech guru and also hedge fund managers supporting Donald Trump, or let's just say that they are sick and tired of Democrat, and they are more of pro Trump. They don't necessarily support Trump, but they definitely see how Trump is going to win the vote, and they actually see how Trump is going to be the next U.S. president. So the list goes on and on because that include right now there's Citadel's Griffin. So people who are familiar with the big guru in the Wall Street, people who've been following the Bloomberg knows of Griffin because Griffin is insanely rich. He's a multi-billionaire, perhaps like hundreds of billions, because he has a lot of he is a major part of Wall Street, and also Bill Ackman, which is the very famous activist hedge fund manager, is supporting Trump, and he also sees that Trump is going to win the next U.S. presidency, and also we have been seeing like Elon Musk, even though like there have been some of debate because what Elon Musk has been doing recently, because he basically encouraged people to vote for Trump, and by doing that they have the chance to win like $1 million. So we will actually put that in a future video to talk about, is that anti-constitutional, but it's kind of in a gray area because this is actually not how you buy vote. But if you look at how you know I'm going to be a little bit conspiracy right here, because what happened previously with the the Democrats buying votes, or Democrats faking those votes, that we know it's kind of a systemic job that you can fake all these votes and ballots is possible. So like this is actually like a gray area, because if you can fake those votes through illegal immigrants, then Elon Musk probably has what it takes to pay for the ballot. At least he's paying the bill. He himself is the one who pays for the price. So I think it's actually quite fair to do it that way. But we will leave it debatable, because people may say this is not how you treat democracy and blah blah blah. But we will talk about this in a future video. That is not what we want to talk about today. And we also see like Washington Post, because Mr. Bezos has bought the Amazon. He's the Amazon CEO. He bought like Washington Post recently. He is actually forcing the Washington Post to release a claim that Washington Post is not going to stand for any of the presidential candidates. So that would be outrageous, because for quite some time, I would say a couple decades, Washington Post is viewed as a left wing media, because it's quite obvious that they are anti-Trump, that they are more of pro Harris. So by doing that, it actually makes a lot of editors, and also the writers, the column writers from the Washington Post, very pissed, because they are thinking that it will be unfair to do so, because they think, oh, like right now it's only Fox News would be the right wing media. It's not fair to having balancing the voice, because you have too many of the left wing but only few of the right wing media, and they are really strongly against of these decisions. But we are seeing the attitude behind Jeff Bezos, because Bezos is actually placing the bet on Trump right now, even though it's quite late, but he is doing so, right? Because we were also seeing the Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg. He told the Congress, I'm not going to post all these references and all the link. You can all Google it. It's all over there. If spend some time Google it, you get the answer yourself. So basically, what Zuckerberg was saying is that during the COVID crisis, the COVID Wuhan virus, they they actually they are forced by the Democrats to release some of the fake news, or they just say those materials towards Trump and towards the something bad about like the status quo. So they Mark Zuckerberg actually confessed about that. So I will view that as kind of like a gesture. And also the list also include Mark Cuban, which is also a very famous internet guru. He makes a lot of money. He owns a NBA sports team. So you are seeing increasingly amount of billionaires, and all these billionaires, they were pro. Okay, these people, they are strongly pro left wing. If you go back to a couple years ago, these names are the big donor of Democrat Party. But right now, they I guess they just tired and sick and tired of what the Democrats been doing, because they've been actively forcing the so-called like the left wing to the centrist. And if you are thrown to the left now, the extremely left will actually criticize that you are not left enough because you do not support, if as long as if you do not support DEI, you do not support transgender and all these things, you will be immediately turned right, or like central, like center. So that I think that's the main point. A lot of Democrat supporters, they are no longer supporting Democrat, and right now they are shifting towards more of Trump. And I was also watching the video of Trump and Joe Rogan, and I think this is an actually amazing interview. Despite of the fact that CNN and all these so-called mainstream media immediately post something, for example, like you see the title 32 false claim on Trump made to Joe Rogan, or etc. I think the interview itself actually worth spending time to to watch, to listen to. I don't know, maybe if you're driving a car, maybe if you are having a break, I think you could just watch it, watch it sometime if you could find some time, because it's very, very inspirational. It's really how it kind of tells you who Trump really is, because you don't see these kind of political figure or these kind of presidential candidates sit down and talk to someone without any kind of rehearsal, and he just keeps saying what he believes for a very long time. That I think the video actually is 3 hours long. So you would probably find some time to find this video, because the Google and and the YouTube actually try to shadow ban it. It tries to stop the traffic, but it's awesome video, right? It really tells you who Trump really is, what he believes, and what he has been seeing. And actually, if you see from his point of view, that is very kind of interesting. So let me just keep like let me start by asking several questions. First, if you are, let's just say, if you want to be someone's friend, okay, you can choose to be Trump's friend, close friend, or Kamala's close friend. Who would you admire? Who would you think it's capable? One is billionaire, obviously not from middle class, but this guy is humble enough to sit down to talk to you. Okay, this guy is open about his mistake. He may be cocky sometimes. He's a big talker. He talks himself all the time. It's kind of getting to a point where it's annoying, but he gets his shit done. He has the legendary experience. He was a New York real estate developer. He develops, even though some people may claim that he has several failure, but doesn't matter. But he still developed several very important properties in New York. And then he used to be running a show called Disciples, a very successful TV show. So, and he also became like a U.S. president. He has this kind of legendary background, right? Started as a rich guy, who was viewed as who granted like everything, but he didn't stop there. He just moved on. He built up his own show, his brands. Some brands failed, some success, and then he accidentally become like a U.S. president. And I think based on that experience, if you look around, if that would be someone near you, you'd be like, oh my God, this guy is like a true legend, right? This guy is someone that you definitely want to make friends with. Despite of all these mainstream media, what they really kind of attack, how they attack Donald Trump. I think this guy would be, at least for me, he will be like, for me, that would be someone, I will view him as someone actually get shit done, who actually been there, who actually has several really important achievements in his life. But then if you compare with like, Harris, what did she actually achieved, right? She was a DA. She was like, she was working as a senator in the California, but you know she is kind of like a, I don't know, like what, if you ask any Californian, okay, old Californian, about what she has really done for the politics or has done for the California, you can probably start by saying like Act 47. That is a total tragedy. Okay, that's a entire failure. So you can't actually name any success in her career, and based on her interaction with the people, with the media, even though she claimed she's from middle class, but I don't see how she's linking to the middle class. She's not responding any of the requests. She's not answering questions. She is very arrogant. She refused to face a question because every time when the press, including CNN, asks, making softball, asking questions, to Kamala Harris, she's always like laughing to a point where it's just creepy. Can you imagine someone like that? Be near you, become your friends. Who is when you tell her, when you are expressing your need, that you need something, you're in demand of something, and she turned right at you and she's smiling, giggling just like that. Would you trust her? Would you trust someone who laugh at your demands in front of your face and start giggling like that for a long time, and she's very evasive of what you need, and she pretends that she care about you because she proclaimed that she's part of you. Yeah, she is black, she's Indian, she is middle class, she's everything. It's like every time she contradict her own belief, and every time when you ask her, who do you really support, what is your belief, and she's always like the nice guy, in the party. We all know who that is. In your high school, in your university, you get to meet people like that, because these kind of people who always want to look good, they want to have put their mask on. They don't want to reveal who they really are. They have laughed at you maybe secretly, but in front of you, they show a bit of kind of like a fake respect, and these kind of fake relationship. We're trying to start a fake relationship with you. So think about that. Like the second question is that I want to ask, people, if you really want to support, Kamala Harris, are you supporting or voting Kamala Harris only because you hate Trump? Like, think about this question. Why do you hate Trump? Is that because the mainstream media, trying to use, like, like they have maybe like a 3 hour long interview with Trump, and they're only releasing like, like one or two sentence. Like Donald Trump says a lot of, wild shit. Okay, he says a lot of kind of stupid thing, but it kind of gets to the point. But then these mainstream media cut all of his meaningful shit, okay, and only leaving this wild shit, okay. So that's how people view him. Like, Donald Trump is crazy. Donald Trump is anti-America. Donald Trump is anti-constitutional, and Donald Trump is, the reason why Americans hate each other. I think that's like, essentially, that is not true. Okay, if you look at his policy, like, Democrats been saying this for long. Like, if you choose Donald Trump, you choose like the tariff. But even Democrats right now, for 4 years, Democrat has not revised a single tariff policy established by the Trump administration. They, instead of canceling these terrible tariff policy, the Democrat decided to keep these policies. That's the problem. Like, this is pure hypocrisy. Like, yeah, can you imagine being like a hypocrite just like that? Like, you say something's bad, but you keep it, and it doesn't matter how bad you're running the country. Like, if people say, if as long as you're running a country, it doesn't matter what policy you use. If you're using this policy, you must be right. If Donald Trump is adapting the same policy, he must be wrong, because he's Donald Trump. He's the evil guy. So ask yourself the very important question, like, do you go and vote for Kamala only because but you believe Kamala is a good candidate, or she smiles a lot, or do you actually, the reason why you vote for Kamala Harris is that you hate Trump? And if you really hate Trump, why do you hate Trump? What is the reason that you hate Trump? And if he's a Nazi, if he's a racist, can you find out the actual footage? And you try to watch the entire footage and tell me again if he is a racist or a Nazist, or maybe he is a white supremacist. Okay, so I encourage you to do so. The third question I want to ask all these Kamala supporters or voters, right? What kind of America are you expecting? Because Kamala is expecting the main I would say the main, like, the way she tried to promote herself is like, like you see this big motto of turning the page. I mean, what the heck is that? Turning the page? You are running the country already. You are the vice presidents, right? You are running the country with Joe already. But how do you turn to the page? Turn the page of what? You already have 4 years. If you are talking about turning the page of Trump, then you already turns the page of 4 years. Like, what the heck are you talking about? I mean, that doesn't even make any sense. If right now you are not the vice president, and right now Donald Trump is, in at the end of his presidency, that it's 100% logical. It's 100% legit for you to say turn the page, okay? Because right now Trump is running the president. He is the president. But now what the heck of the page are you going trying to turn, right? It doesn't make any sense. And you try to, when you every time when you try to connect what he's saying to her logic, it always fell apart. Check all of her responses to the media, to the public. She is a robot. She doesn't have her own idea. She follows everything that Joe has to say, right? And you people are the guy who actually believe that Joe Biden is the perfect candidate, and he has a good health, and then, a couple months ago that you were seeing that debate goes really bad, and then you suddenly wake up and say, oh my God, like, Joe, what happened to Joe? Why is Joe in such a bad shape? What's happened? What's happening to Joe? Right? So I think these, people who are supporting Kamala Harris should really ask themselves that kind of question. Who is running America? Right? Is that the people behind the old Joe trying to tell Joe Biden what to do? Or, oh, this old man trying to run the country. So you have no idea, right? I have no idea. I have no idea. Like, to be honest, I don't know who's running the United States right now. I don't know if Joe Biden goes to White House every day, right? I don't get the full report. You can try to Google, try to access the record. The records actually shows that he actually spent a lot of time spending his vacation while people are suffering, while people cannot buy grocery, people having problem with their securities. Like, I mean, he just enjoy his life. I mean, I don't see how that's helping the United States from flourishing, becoming one of the greatest power on this planet. I don't see that happening, right? So I guess, you know, like Kamala Harris voters should really ask yourself several questions like that, because by answering these questions, you get the answer immediately. And that's what we were expecting. We were expecting Donald Trump to win the next president. And of course, we'll be talking about Donald Trump's policy in the next video. We'll be talking about I will actually show you the math. Okay, I will show you the math. I'll show the logic. Why is it possible to reduce the tax? And it's good for the economy to reduce the tax to boost the revenue because it works all the time, right? You see, the very, very easy example is to look at Hong Kong. Hong Kong several years ago, maybe 10 years ago. You look at Singapore, right? If you are saying maybe Hong Kong is no longer Hong Kong, I absolutely agree with that. But if you look at Singapore, that's the other example. They are both charging very, very low tax rate. But the government is running a very healthy budget, not because they are charging extra amount of tax. That is not how you run the government. If you want to have a good economy, you need to put the tax down. If you put the tax down, that boosts the revenue. If the revenue can be boosted, your economy is not as levered. Okay, sometimes people say you have a tremendous amount of U.S. debt. I agree with that. But if you can double the amount of revenue, you are not as in debt as you used to be. So that leverage became half of it. So if you know what I'm saying. So in the next video, I'm going to cover so-called Trumponomic, right? There is no term like that, because it's actually quite crazy. If you look at Abe, right, for every president, you go to Japan and you see Abe trying to run the Japanese economy. They will give a name such as Abenomic, right? This is a wonderful term expressing how he views the economy, how he's going to help the Japanese economy to revive, right? There is a term so called like Abenomic, right? But there is no term such as Trumponomic. So for me, that's annoying because that shows how much the mainstream media, how much the machine really hates Trump, because that they are not going to give him a term, so-called Trumponomic, to justify his way of running the country, because he's a dictator, because he's a Nazi, because he's a white supremacist, because he's a racist. That's why he doesn't deserve for a term so-called as Trumponomic. So that is ridiculous. So in the next video, we're going to cover that. So in this video, we talked about stuff. We talk about more people are supporting Trump, and we talk about his interview with Joe Rogan. It's something that you must see. We talk about why you shouldn't vote for Kamala Harris and what's wrong with supporting Kamala Harris. And I strongly suggest you to watch that entire video of Joe Rogan. Interview with Donald Trump. I think that's what future journalism should look like. You should be able to ask any president to sit down, right, and then talk to ordinary people for like 2 to 3 hours to get to know his personality, to get to know what drives him, his incentive, how he grows up, right? You want to know everything about this guy, because that's how you make friends, right? That's how you may get to know someone, by asking them questions, by listening to them, right? By spending 2 to 3 hours nonstop to build that kind of connection, that intimacy with these candidate. And that is how you choose your goddamn president. That's how you choose your company's CEO. That is how you choose like the people that you care, that's how you choose like everything. That's how you choose your best friend. It should be like that. I think that's the future journalism should look like. We should no longer be manipulated, be controlled by mainstream media. This is the time that we truly wake up, not to become a transgen, not to become, I don't know, like to cut your dick, or I don't know, put your tits on. I don't think that's the true awakening. I think the true awakening is that you and I, we are demanding that we know more. We're demanding that we have the full access of information. We want to be out of this matrix. So thank you guys for watching this video. And if you guys like it, please subscribe and share. Press the like button for me. And feel free to join our international community. We have a Patreon group. Support us. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.